Am I the asshole for feeling betrayed after my wife hid the fact that we could never have kids until years into our marriage?
That might be a deal breaker.
That's fucked up.
That's a deal breaker for
That's
me.
fucked.
But let me hear the rest of the story.
Okay.
Maybe I might change. I might change my mind. You know what I mean?
Change your mind.
Sometimes,
change my mind.
sometimes he
Come
does.
on, man.
I might change
Yeah,
my
Sometimes
mind.
he does.
He's a mind changer.
For them.
He is.
If you guys give me a good enough point, I change my mind.
Come on, man.
It's yet to
Yeah,
happen. but-
Open-minded.
100%. Go ahead.
I, 35 male, met my wife, 33 female, about 10 years ago. From the very beginning, I knew she was special. We clicked instantly. Same sense of humor, same life goals, or so I thought. And just an overwhelming feeling of, this is the person I want to build my life with. As we dated, I made it very clear that I've always wanted a family. I wasn't pushy about it, but I talked about it and how I look forward to being a dad one day, how I wanted to raise kids and create a loving home together. She never gave any indication that she didn't want to. She would smile, nod, and sometimes even talk about what kind of parent she thought she'd be. Fast forward a few years, we got married. It was one of the happiest days of my life. Actually, it was the happiest day of my life. I loved this woman with my whole heart, and I truly believed that we were on the same page about everything that mattered. Then, a few years into our marriage, we started talking more seriously about trying for kids. That's when she finally dropped the bombshell. She has known since before we even met that she has a medical condition that would make it impossible for her to conceive. Not unlikely, not difficult, impossible.
Damn.
I was stunned. All right? Tell him.
Impossible.
Not unlikely, not difficult.
Impossible.
Tell him. I was stunned. It wasn't even just that she couldn't have kids. It was that she knew all along and never told me. Not even when we were dating. Not when I expressed over and over how much I wanted to have children. Not before we got married. Just never. When I asked her why she never told me, she just said she didn't want to lose me and hoped that by the time we got to this point, I would love her enough that it wouldn't matter. She also admitted that she was scared I would leave if I knew. And now, I don't even know how to feel. I love her, / I loved her, but I can't shake this overwhelming feeling of betrayal. This was not some small omission. She took away my ability to make an informed decision about my future. She knew this was a deal breaker for me and just lied by omission. I feel trapped. I feel cheated. And worst of all, I don't know what to do. Reddit. What would you do?
That's tough. Kids are important to me. Like, I want to have kids. And especially kids that are with my wife, you know?
Mhm.
So that's, to be frank, that is one of the most important aspects of marriage for me. Creating a family. And if she knew the entire time and didn't tell me, we basically got married off of false, like,
Pretense, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So would I feel betrayed? Absolutely. But then I think for this situation, I would have a little bit of, I would take a step back and be like, is this the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with? If I come to the decision that yes, everything else is there, she's absolutely perfect, do I feel betrayed at this? Can I get over it? I'll have to think about all these things, right? But if I fall on, I still want to be with this person, there are other ways that we can have kids, man. What is it not ideal for me? Yeah, I would want to have kids that look exactly like me because I want to raise a mini version of us. I think it would be so adorable, you know? But there's adopting. There's other ways to go about it. Like, I'm not going to cut off something good because of something that happened. Would I feel betrayed? Absolutely, bro. Would we have to talk about it, go to counseling and, you know, get over it? Absolutely. But is it something big enough to end my marriage? I'll have to ponder on that. And most likely right now I'm leaning towards not.
Would it have been a deal breaker before you got
Yeah,
married?
it would have been a deal breaker.
So then that's why
But
why
then at
she
the same
kept it.
time, it's different because right now I'm invested.
Mhm.
I fell in love with you,
But
you know,
what?
and I'm
isn't-
invested a lot in you.
Surrogacy is still your child.
Yeah, no, I'm to your point. What do you mean? Are you saying like other ways to
No,
have
but
kids?
let's say she couldn't have kids when she told you before the marriage.
Yeah,
You could still have her egg and your sperm.
true. You know, I'm sure.
And
To your
someone
point,
else.
like, okay for that. Good point. I regress.
It was his point.
Yeah, good point, Mukhtar. I wanna
I'm trying to give my point.
Try to
away.
give you credit, right? Don't worry, I got you.
Appreciate it.
Like, there are other ways to have kids nowadays. You know,
Mhm.
like the only aspect of betrayal that I feel is you felt uncomfortable telling me in an area where I felt I created an environment where we can talk about anything, and you felt uncomfortable. That would sting on that level and also sting on the betrayal level.
Yeah.
But would it be an absolute deal breaker when there's other ways of having kids? Nah, man. I'll get over it eventually.
I think the biggest part is just taking away information on the table that you had mentioned as well, that would put into reality of what type of relationship you're gonna have
Mhm.
and what type of family you can grow. I think that's the only thing that's just weak-willed about her. I understand it's a medical condition, and she didn't want to express it until she sees that you're in it all the way. But she's taking away a big factor in the decision making of the marriage. But I think, yeah, after the initial heartbreak of, yeah, your wife is not gonna get pregnant, because that's a big thing for a lot of women. I'm not gonna say a lot of women is the carrying the child. And if she got over that part and she has accepted that part, I think after the initial betrayal of why couldn't you tell me, I think that's something you have to hug and have to deal with. And I don't think that's something to leave someone over, because as you mentioned, surrogacy, I think I don't know if Islamically, I don't know what the rule on that is, but I know it's a thing. And a thing that someone can deal with, and that's still legitimately your child.
It's also about intention, right? Was her intent to fool me? Not in this case. Her intention was she was scared to let me know the truth because she was scared of losing me. I also have to look at it like that. Was your intention to be malicious? Like, were you trying to be ruin my life? No, in this case, she wasn't, because she was actually, and I think in a way it's kind of like I see your point, because I probably would have looked at you a certain way if you told me that, but because of that, I have to look at it like I have to get over this.
You have to hug
It
them,
would
yeah.
it would be painful. I would feel hurt. I would feel a little betrayed, but I have to hug that.
Yeah, well, I honestly, I 100% align with what you guys are saying, to be honest with you. And to be honest, I don't even think it would have been a deal breaker from the start. If I truly, really did love you and I really did see you in that light, if you would have told me before we got married that you can't have kids, I would have been cool. We would have actually been navigating that scenario then and thinking about how we can have kids outside of this medical condition, right? So, yeah, it's the betrayal part that really hurts. But I think, after some time, they should be able to get back on the same page. They're going to need help from a third person, in my opinion, for this, because obviously the deception is real in this scenario. This person was deceived, but at the same time too, if he really does love his wife, then it's not going to be that big of a
Yeah, you can get over
deal.
it.
Yeah,
It's not a deal breaker. You know.
Could you get with somebody that's not able to have kids?
No, it's not the end of the world for me. Like, we live in an age where it's possible other ways. Like, I'm cool. Like, adoption hasn't been that cool to me, but if that's the only avenue, I'm going down that. I want kids. I want to raise a child, and that's really important to me. If she went along the path of I don't want kids, that's a different story.
Right.
If she told me I don't want kids, I just want it to be me and you, that would be a deal breaker. But if you told me you have a condition that you're unable to bear children, we can work around that. Because that just means that you're not capable of having kids. But if you're telling me I do not want kids, that's not for me.
That would have been a lie.
Yeah,
right?
That's not for me.
That would have been a lie.
If she came to this story, if she was like, I wanted kids, but then I changed my mind and now I don't want kids, that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, 100%. That would have been it for me. Like, okay, then we're not as aligned as we thought we were. But if we're still aligned in the same way we thought we were, and there's a medical condition that's getting in the way, then I'm with you. I'm rocking with you.
I agree.
We can still navigate this. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
We got to it quick.
Yeah. Is he the asshole in the situation?
No.
I think it's what would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do in the situation?
Give it some time, talk to your family, talk to your close loved ones and get their opinions, and time is going to heal this wound. It's a wound and you have to acknowledge that as it is, but time is going to heal this wound. If you truly love your wife and she loves you, you guys will have kids someday.
I don't even have to say anything else. I agree with that.
Bow.
Come on now.
Stamp
I
it.
agree with that.
Stamp it. You heard it here.
Yeah. I agree with everything.
Come on, man. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. I'm your host with the most. These are my bros.
Yama.
Mukhtar, I don't have all that animation. Bro.
And I'm your boy Slim. Tap in on the comments below. We want to hear your feedback. Ask your aunt, ask your uncle, ask your brother, ask your sister. Tell them we need to know their opinion. Tap in below. We'll see y'all next week.